Hello friends, my name is Haley and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm giving you my August and September wrap up, and I'm doing both because August I basically disappeared from the face of the planet. I was doing a Hollywood shoot and it took up a lot of my time, so I didn't have a lot of time to read. I did finish an audiobook and I think I started one or something, so I just figured I'd put it all together. Overall, it's not a super impressive wrap up. There's not a whole lot of books I read, but they were good ones, so let's get into it. So the first book that I finished was Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief. I listened to it on audiobook. I started it for Booktubeathon as a hyped book, but I didn't have the time to finish it. Booktubeathon, man, I'm so ashamed. Next year, I'm gonna do better. I ended up giving it 5 stars. I thought it was a really fun book. I would say, I know it's not fair to compare books to each other, but I would say that it's a little bit more immature than Harry Potter, but it was still a really fun read. I like Percy Jackson. The narrator of the audiobook is really great. He's super fun. I just really liked Rick Riordan's take on the Greek myths. I love Greek mythology. I love all the characters. I love that Dionysus was their teacher because he's my favorite god. I call him the hipster god of wine and theater, and he has satyrs dancing around him. He's a hipster. But his interpretation was not a hipster. Just seeing everything come together, there were characters I hadn't really heard of or heard much about, so it was fun to learn a little bit more about it. Because it was a little bit immature, I don't know how quickly I'm going to jump back into the series. I'm eventually probably just going to finish the audiobooks off, but it'll be probably one at a time whenever I don't know what else to listen to. But I did enjoy the book a lot. I've currently been going through and listening to the Harry Potter series because I found that I hardly remember anything from the books. If it didn't happen in the movies, I do not remember what, and I'm ashamed of myself for that. I feel like I should know better about Harry Potter. So I decided to go back and listen to them, and it's been fantastic. I must say, a lot of people had said that the audiobook for Harry Potter is good, but man, they were not kidding. Jim Dale is fantastic. He is by far the best narrator I've come across yet. And I know I haven't listened to a whole lot of audiobooks yet, but it's safe to say he is amazing. He has a voice for every character. I haven't looked into his past. He has to be some sort of actor because his McGonagall's spot on. His Hagrid sounds like he's coming from the actor from the movie. I can't remember his name, but it sounds like it's him. Like, that's how good he is. And then I like that there's other voices that are very different from the way that the actors portrayed them in the movie, but that's great too. Like, his Snape is very different. He's actually changed my perspective of Snape. Like, hearing him read it, I'm like, man, this guy is terrible. Why, like, I don't care about book 7. Why did that change my mind? I hated him the whole time. But he's kind of a jerk. So I listened to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, of course, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And I'll kind of talk about them all together in one because it's all kind of, at this point, wrapped up into one ball of story. I loved listening to it again, too, because I forgot how much I loved Lee Jordan's commentary of Quidditch. That was one of my favorite parts of the stories, and it still is. It's hilarious, and then you always have McGonagall elbowing him like, hey, get back on your job. The other reason I wanted to listen to this series was to kind of rediscover who my favorite characters are. When I first read the series, Sirius was my favorite. I think Fred and George was my favorite first, and then Sirius was introduced. I love Sirius. And then when the movies came out, I really fell in love with Ron. So now I'm trying to just completely immerse myself in Harry Potter all at once as an adult and see what my opinion is now. Overall, this re-listening experience has been so fantastic, so enjoyable. I'm going to take a little halt from it because right now I'm listening to some horror stuff for Halloween, and then I might get into Name in the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss to talk to my sister about it. So it'll be a little bit before I jump back into Harry Potter, but I'm really excited to get to Goblet of Fire. So I guarantee you, probably Christmas time. I'm going to get warm and cozy and listen to some Harry Potter, so I think I'll get back into it around November, December for sure. And then I read 2 physical books. First off, I finished The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl by Shannon Hale and Dean Hale, and if you see my Goodreads, which by the way, for the first time, that is going to be linked in my videos along with all the rest of my social media. I don't know why I wasn't doing that before, so you can now find my Goodreads and follow me if you would like. This was on my Goodreads list forever. I don't know when the book came out. I think it came out in March, somewhere around spring, and I just finished it in September. I was about like this far into it for the longest time. I was more than halfway through, and I really enjoyed it, and I think I just kept getting distracted by their books. So I was just like, I'm gonna pick it up and finish this easy read. It's gonna take me like 2 hours. So I did, and this book is so good. And the good thing about this is if you don't read comics, but you're curious about Squirrel Girl, you just don't know where to start, this is a great place to start. It's basically an origin story. She moves to New Jersey with her family, and she goes to high school, so she's dealing with trying to make new friends, and she's kind of an outcast, so there's a lot of relatable things to it. She makes friends with a girl who is hearing impaired, which is a really nice representation, but she makes it to this school, and she takes it upon herself to become a superhero in the town, and it's really fun to see how the kids react to it. She gets this villain, and he's silly. But my favorite thing about it is if you read the comics, you might not even notice it, but at the bottom of, I think, every single page, there's a little, really small, light-colored text on the bottom of her, like, annotations. And they did that in the book. And it's not on every page, but some pages have more than one. I don't know if you can even really see it here, but there's some at the bottom of a lot of pages. And it's like Squirrel Girl went back and read this book about herself and just made annotations. And it's so funny. They got her character so well. It felt like I was reading a comic, and that made me really happy. I love Squirrel Girl. She's one of my favorite superheroes. If you didn't know, I cosplay her. I love Squirrel Girl to death. So this book was made for me. I'm happy that they came out with it because she's getting more popular, but she's still a bit of an obscure character, so I was really happy to see this. Tippy Toe is great, she's on the back, so fantastic book. If you are interested in Squirrel Girl at all, I highly recommend it. It makes me really happy. And the final book that I read this month was Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, which was in my September book haul. If you want to check out that video, I'll leave the link below. So if you didn't know, this story is about 6 thieves who have to pull off this impossible heist, and it's in a fantasy world. I don't want to give any more away. I said this in the book haul. It's just that the mission that they have to accomplish is so interesting that it's much better if it naturally unfolds for you. I am in love with this book. I can't wait until I'm able to pick up Crooked Kingdom. The characters are so well written. Their relationships are really interesting. I love the way that their stories are told because you get the main story of them trying to pull off this heist. Kaz recruits everybody and then they embark on the journey. So along the way, you get everybody's information through flashbacks. And it's really interesting. I love just slowly getting a little bit of their stories here and there and putting it all together. Every single character is fantastic. There were characters at the beginning who I thought, I don't know how much I'm going to like them, but by the end I'm like, yes, I love you. I want you all to do wonderful and pull this off, and things are going wrong, but I hope it works out for you guys because you're so amazing. And Kaz Brekker, man, what a badass. Like, I think a lot of people are kind of in love with him, and it's great because he's very much an anti-hero, chaotic neutral. I wouldn't say he's not evil. He's definitely some sort of neutral alignment. And Leigh Bardugo's writing is beautiful. I read like the first page when I was decided whether I wanted to buy the book, and I was like, oh yep, this book is for me. This is beautiful writing. So I can't wait to read more Leigh Bardugo stories. Pretty soon I'm going to be picking up the Grisha trilogy because I just can't get enough of her writing. I'm so pleased with this. I think she's quickly going to become one of my favorite authors for sure. So that's going to do it for my September wrap up. Let me know what books you read, and in the meantime, if you haven't already done so, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And then you can also add that little bell so you'll always get notified as soon as I put up my videos. But that'll do it, and I will see you guys soon.